Welcome to Movies, Films, and Flicks. I am Mark Hoffmeyer, and joining me is a man who wishes that Bill Nighy was in every Christmas movie ever. It's Jay Cluitt.
I do indeed. Hello, Mark. Good to see you.
How great would that be?
It would be great. He'd be a great old man Marley.
Wait, old man Marley
in Home Alone.
Oh, brother,
the shoveler.
Oh my gosh, I would just watch a movie with Bill Nighy shoveling snow.
Yeah, because as long as he's narrating it as he goes,
yeah, just
I need him to be talking,
humming. Just how do you think he would? What would his shovel style be? He wouldn't be an aggressive shoveler.
No, he'd be a very kind of laid back. He'll start shoveling. It might take him a little while. Somebody will walk past and have a little chat with them, just about anything in general.
I don't see him finishing the job.
No, not at all. Or maybe he might make it to the end of the path, but he's not going to go any wider than like a couple of footsteps.
Yeah, and he's just more like, and he probably looks great while doing it, like very well dressed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like probably impractically dressed, but he doesn't regret it. You know, and no one. If I dressed the way he did when he shoveled, people would be like, man, that guy doesn't look right. But when Bill Nighy does it, you're like, man, he looks great. You know what I mean?
I sense Bill Nighy has never regretted a single decision in his life. He just kind of looks back and think, yeah, I did that right. I'm good. Let's keep going.
And any movie role, I feel like he could defend too. Like Underworld 3. He's like, I was with vampires and werewolves, and I got to punch people.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah,
who wouldn't want to do that?
He's probably like, I never get these roles. I want to play a vampire who punches people in the face.
Yeah, I'm not an actor, never acted, but if I got that role, yeah, I'd take it.
I would love it. I would love to be. I would just look dour, and then I would walk around in like a trench coat, and I'd probably have to wear a wig of long black hair. I'd shoot some statues for target practice, and then I'd probably get killed by one of the leaders, and then I'd just call it a day and brag about it on Facebook when the movie comes out.
Yeah. Or you could go down the Michael Caine route of be in the film but never watch it.
And buy a mansion, and not be there to accept my Oscar because of Jaws of Revenge.
It's such a ridiculous film for him to have missed an Oscar for.
So you know me, I like bad movies. I like defending these things. I watched Jaws of Revenge again to track the shark's movement. I figured out where it went and how far it traveled, and I kind of figured out its plan. But watching Jaws of Revenge makes me sad.
Why?
What about it? It's just so bad. Like, it's just so... Normally I can really get into movies, but you have Mario Van Peebles making up every line of dialogue that he wanted. And then you have Elaine Brody just breaking down crying. It's just a weird little movie.
It's one I've yet to actually. I've heard so much crap about it that I just haven't watched it, and I pitched the idea of doing a Jaws franchise look back to my co-host next year for Shark Week, and I think a chill ran down his spine at the thought of having to watch Jaws: The Revenge again.
Oh wait, actually I'm joking. Jaws: The Revenge is great. You should watch it.
Okay.
It is totally worth it. You need to watch that movie.
I want to. I really want. I enjoy films that are terrible too. Some films that are terrible. So I think, from what I've heard, Jaws 4 is laughably bad, and I think I could find something to enjoy in there.
Bill Nighy should have been in Jaws of Revenge.
Again, he should be in everything. He should be the shark.
Yeah, he should. I remember we were watching a movie. We watched About Time, and my wife looks over at me, and she's like, "Can we adopt him?" And I'm like, "Yes."
No, I want to be adopted by him.
Yeah, well, we're trying to adopt Bill Nighy. I don't know how it works. But we're trying to find the paperwork for it.
Well, once you find out, let me know. We could be like adopted cousins or something via Bill Nighy.
Co-adoptees. You can have him. You can have. We'll switch
every other weekend.
Yeah, in summers. You start dressing up as Miss Doubtfire to kind of be around him more, and you show up at our house, and I'm like, what is happening?
Hello, I'm here for Bill Nighy. William.
And we're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. And then you endear ourselves, and then Pierce Brosnan shows up. There's a musical. We can make it happen.
Yeah, I'm there. I'm sold.
I go, well, hey, I just want to say thank you for joining me. Normally I'm on your podcast, and
I'm happy to be here, Mark. And normally it's a stretch. You've been on twice.
Yeah, that's
and you're
right.
welcome to come back anytime.
No, I'd love to. Yeah, I kind of I'm here and there, but I had a good time doing that 1950s draft. I think that podcast went about 6 hours.
It did. That went a little longer than we normally do. We did a 60s draft recently, actually, a couple weeks ago, and that was a lot shorter.
Yeah. So now whenever I do anything similar to that, I just give the shortest answers possible.
Yeah, I think that is the problem. It's like you pick a film and then everyone wants to get their say in as to why that film's great, and then 4 hours later you're on the second round. Yeah, and it's just...
and then people want to chime in on the movie you picked.
Yeah, it's always entertaining discussion, but we all want to carry on with our weekend.
We did a good job with the Scream Pod, though. We kept it to 2 hours.
We did. That was great. With 6 people and 4 films. That was impressive.
That was 6 people on that one?
Yeah.
I lost track.
It was more than usual because it's the Scream franchise. People want to talk about it.
I was too busy talking about Garage Doors.
You were.
And Parker Posey, and a movie called Sleepless in Portland, starring me and Meg Ryan.
Which I would watch, but Bill Nye would need to be in it as I don't know, Meg Ryan's dad or something. I don't know.
Holy mackerel! No, he would be my best friend.
Of course.
In it.
He could be like your kind of mentor figure.
Yeah,
and then like your older colleague at your work or something.
Works with me in Portland.
Yes, exactly.
He just gives me advice, and he teaches me how to dance.
Of course, yeah. Paul Knight has to dance. Yeah.
So for this, I'm gonna be joining your podcast, which is I'll do the intro in a little bit here, but I'm doing the sports movie draft in January.
Yes, that should be an interesting show.
My picks are gonna change the world.
Okay. Sports movies aren't my forte, so I'll be on that show as more of an umpire, trying to guide everything. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what everyone picks.
I'm going left fielding it. I'm going random. I'm going random on it.
Random, okay.
I'm not trying to win.
First pick, Space Jam.
Yeah, exactly. Oh crap! I gotta switch my first pick now. Thanks, man. I was gonna do all Bill Murray sports movies.
Space Jam, Caddyshack,
Kingpin,
of course, yes.
And I'm sure. In Rushmore, he blocks a kid's shot in basketball.
I think I may contest that one if you try and pick Rushmore as a sports movie.
Yeah, but if there's action in a movie, does it not make it an action movie?
I think it needs to be
I'm not going to be that
significant amount of action. Otherwise, you could say Harry Potter's a sports movie because there's Quidditch, and I don't think people are going to accept that. I certainly won't.
That was my 5th pick.
Okay. So which one?
I have to all of them. I have to reevaluate my list now.
So I picked Star Wars Episode 2: Attack of the Clones because there's a gladiator battle.
Oh man. Ooh. All right, that's my first pick now.
Okay.
And I'm saying I have this quoted by you, so that's my first pick.
You have it recorded now. It's down.
Yeah, that's right. But so if obviously it's your first time, you haven't heard of it, but Jay is you have the website Life versus Film, and then you also started the large association of movie blogs, or the LAM, and last time I checked, you're up to 1,945 members.
With a few more still to go, pending. I can't take credit for starting it. It was started just over 11 years ago by a guy called Dylan Fields, who I have to give credit to for starting the LAM. I took over a few years back when, I'm technically the shepherd of the LAM is the honorary title. I'm the 4th shepherd, so a few have kind of taken the mantle and retired, and I'm sticking with it for a little while now at least.
Oh wow!
But yeah, the LAM, as you say, it's the large association of movie blogs. Your site and podcast is one of our members. We are just a large online community of movie blogs. It's kind of in the name. So we have a podcast, the Lambcast. We have quite a lot of discussion on the site, on the forums, and it's a good place to go if you want to try and find like-minded people or other blogs to read. And if you have a blog and aren't a member, then come join us, please. We'd love to have you.
It's a great community.
Yeah.
And you're like the 4th Doctor.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take that. Which was the 4th Doctor?
The guy with the scarf. Or is he the second one? I just made that up. I should have stuck with it because you would have believed me. I
would have, because classic Doctor Who, not something I'm very familiar with, despite being British.
Not Bill Nye.
No, he would be a great. I would start watching Doctor Who if Bill Nye was the Doctor.
Oh my gosh!
Trying to stop me.
He just tried to stop me. If he would be
Tom Baker was the 4th Doctor. There we go.
Hey, there it is.
And he is the guy with the scarf, I think.
Whoa!
I think you're right.
Do you think I pulled that from somewhere deep in my memory?
Yes, it's your subconscious somehow knows all of the Doctors.
All right, so I know
describe the 7th one. We'll see what it says.
The guy with the hair.
He does have hair. He also
So he's the one before 8, and that's 8's my favorite, because that's Christopher Eccleston.
But
right?
Technically 8th is Paul McGann because he was in the film. But if you go with just the TV series, and Eccleston's the 8th.
Eccleston's the best. So 7 wasn't good.
7's Sylvester McCoy.
Oh,
Radagast.
I love Sylvester McCoy.
Yeah, Radagast.
Jeez Louise. Doctor Who people are really mad right now. All right, so before we get into Home Alone, I just want to say something real quick to you. We watch a lot of movies, right?
Yes. Not enough, but yes.
A lot. With all my research for like my articles and Rotten Tomatoes and all that, I've been watching a lot of movies, and I was kind of thinking about this, and I've kind of decided that movies are good or not if I remember them like a week after watching them.
I think that's a good thing. A good way to rank them. Yeah.
I mean, because I was at Redbox the other day. This place, I don't know if you have Redbox, but I was like renting some movies.
I'm familiar with it.
Yeah, and I was like, oh yeah, I watched that movie, and I probably watched it maybe a month ago. So maybe I'm losing my memory, or I just watched so many. Does that make sense? I don't know. I just want to know what you think about that.
It makes sense. I mean, one of the focuses on Life vs. Film on my site is trying to review all of the films on the 1001 movies you must see before you die list, which is not something I recommend people do. And I have reviewed maybe 400 or so off the list so far.
Whoa.
And I don't remember them all. I remember precious few of the ones that I hadn't seen before, and which kind of makes the whole thing pointless, I think, because the whole point was to try and expand my film horizons. Most film bloggers, most of your guests on the show, I think, grew up in film-loving environments. That wasn't the case for me. I got into film loving later in life, almost into my 20s. So I'm just trying to expand that film knowledge by trying to watch all these classics. And yet I'll scroll down through the list of films I reviewed thinking, Man with a Movie Camera. Which one was that? It's 1929, so it's probably black and white, but I can't remember a great deal more about that. So, I have to agree with you. Like, I'm sure it's not binary. Like, some of the ones I can't remember probably are good, and I can probably remember some terrible films because they are so terrible.
Yeah. It wouldn't hold up in court.
No, but I think it's a good place to start, at least.
I was looking through the top 10 movies for 2018 on the site, on the Lamb site, and I noticed Hereditary was on there, and I went, oh yeah, I watched that. And I remember I told somebody that I didn't really like it, and they got very angry at me. Like, Hereditary is a movie this year that, it's like the Deadpool of this year, where if you don't like it, you
have to defend it for some reason.
Yeah. Have you noticed that with Hereditary?
I haven't seen it. I'm not a big horror guy. But I am surprised that it's on the top 10 list, given by how polarizing it seems to be. Lots of people love it, but I know quite a few people who think it's either just kind of average or out and out bad.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
I liked it. I just forgot about it.
Well, I'll catch it when it hits streaming at some point, but I think when it came out, it just was a bad time. I couldn't make it to the cinema. But yeah, I'll let you know what I think about it when I've crossed it off.
Our next podcast. Hey, and speaking about forgetting, that leads us into the two movies we're talking about. What do you think?
Nicely done, sir.
You think I was setting that up, right? You think I was Ozil going down yeah, never mind. So we're talking Home Alone, man. This is fun. Yeah. So you and I, you're like, I'd love to, guest on the podcast. And I was like, what would you like to do? And it was either this or a Pauly Shore movie. And, we decided on Home Alone 1 and 2, and I'm excited to watch these. I had a great time researching these movies.
I had a great time watching these movies.
They made how much money, adjusted for inflation, do you think they made worldwide?
I know the first one made a shed load. Yeah. But it's adjusted for inflation. It's got to be like 400 million or something. 2.3
billion.
2.3. Okay.
Adjusted for inflation. Both these movies. Isn't that nuts? Little PG movies about a kid foiling two robbers.
But it's like a 4-quadrant movie kind of thing. Everyone can watch it and be entertained by it. It's a cartoon